Trustee Joe, lead us in the pledge.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Trustee Joe. Oh, yes. I'd like to take this opportunity to remind everyone of the village upcoming election tomorrow from noon to 9 at the town center. I will start off with the approval of minutes from the regular meeting on February 24th, 2025.
I would like to make a little correction, or maybe it's just a translation, I don't know, but when I asked Dan Baruch if I remember correctly, what I asked him is if he had room on his plate to look at the comprehensive plan. And I didn't ask him if he would be looking into it. Not, consolidation plan, not the comprehensive plan. And so I would like that rephrased to reflect what I actually said. I don't know what it was at verbatim at this point, but
Forgot about it.
it says trustee Root asked Mr. Baruch if he would be looking at the consolidation or comprehensive plan anytime soon. I asked Dan if he had time or if he had room on his plate to do it, and he said he would. He did, but not so much. He said that he would do the consolidation plan first, and then if that went through, then he would do the comprehensive plan afterwards. But so I just think that needs to be worked in one way or another
Okay.
to reflect what I actually said. I can't say it verbatim at this.
We have it
point, is
recorded,
Yeah,
so we
okay.
can just listen to the tape.
All right. Thank you.
The short answer is yes.
Okay.
So with that correction, I'll take a motion to
So moved.
second.
I'll second it.
Second by trustee Joe. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed say nay. Mayor votes aye. You all have copies of the monthly reports for the sanitation department, the superintendent of public works, planning and zoning, Caldwell Sewer District, treasurer, financial reports, and the fire department. Those will be made available to anyone who requests them free of charge. Number 3 is correspondence. We are maintaining our Tree City USA status from the Arbor Day Foundation. So we've got a flag and we've got a another little indicator for the third year for us. And that came in the mail just the other day. There's a proposed local law number 1 for 2025, chapter 213-13, water schedule of rates and charges, and we'll set a public hearing for April 7th, 2025. Basically, in order to keep up with inflation and the chemicals and the manpower and energy required to filter the water, and in turn provide it to the town and town and village, both had to go up 6%. How the cookie crumbles sometimes. You know, motion? Oh, no, we don't, we'll just.
No, just,
No, this is just.
Yeah. All right, resolutions for review, contract with Warren County Soil and Water for the MS4 programs. To charge of $10,000 per year. The MS4 program has gotten more difficult to report on. Keith used to be able to just copy and paste, adding any addition to the stormwater management system. But it's gotten to the point where they need maps and they need a lot more detail, and it's not in Keith's skill set or wheelhouse, or shouldn't be. Beth Gillis helped us out last year to the tune of $2,500, but each year it's getting more and more difficult, and they're letting us know ahead of time. So we're in year 2 of a 5-year plan, and years 3, 4, and 5 are you know, Keith and I are privy to, it's a lot more mapping and a lot more, thorough reporting that we're just not capable of doing. So the town is contracting with Warren County Soil and Water for 15,000 a year and the village for 10. We have a pretty advanced stormwater system, if you're not aware, with several vortex chambers, which we have a schedule to clean out, and Keith is in charge of that portion of it. So I'm recommending I put it in the budget. So I think it's a good idea to put it in the hands of professionals who do this day in and day out. And they're doing it for Warren County and I believe the town of Queensbury as well.
Yes.
Yeah, right? And Glens Falls.
Yes.
Yeah, all appropriately billed, and it's a pretty good deal. So I'll take a motion to approve the contract with Warren County Soil and Water.
I'll make that motion to approve the contract.
Okay, I'll take a second.
I'll second that.
Seconded by trustee Philomeno. All those in favor indicate by stating aye.
Aye.
Opposed, say nay. Motion carries. Chair votes aye. Charter Communications, we redid this, I think, last year.
Yeah.
And they only wanted a year. Now they want 2 years. With an extension. I got them up a little bit from 1167 to 1250 a month. This is at the wastewater treatment plant. They have used to be a bunch of microwave dishes and they got rid of that. Now they have fiber running up from there to the top of Prospect Mountain. So used to be they would microwave things up to the top, but now they have fiber, but they have a base station and they pay us every month for, I want to say the last, I think it outdates me. I think those, we did a renegotiation when I first came on board, so about 2008 or 7. And this has been just, it's time to renew it, and they want a little bit more time, and I got them up to $12.50 a month, because hasn't been any increase in a while, so. They're good tenants, they're very quiet. So I'll take a motion to approve the Charter Communications lease extension.
So moved.
Is there a second?
I'll second it.
Seconded by trustee Mastro Domenico. All those in favor indicate by stating aye.
Aye.
Opposed, say nay. Motion carries. Mayor votes aye. You want to explain the late payment? I know you had a little more history with it than I did. It's $30 late fee.
Let me just see if you put me.
No,
that was-
no, Dean,
Oh.
each one of the members had done their own registration, and he thought he had completed it all, but apparently there was a glitch and it didn't go through. He thought that he was all registered. And come to find out, he wasn't. We found that out after the date had passed, so they are charging us the $30. Going forward, Debonair is going to do all of the registration, so that way it cannot happen again. But it wasn't, he just thought that he had done it and it had gone through, and he had given us the paper that he thought that showed he was all registered, but they
Just
did
the
not
print
show,
screen?
they do not show receiving his registration, so they're charged us an extra $30 because it did not come in at the early registration date. So I need permission to pay them the $30.
Well, I'll make that motion and we pay the $30.
Seconded.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, say nay. Motion carries. I'm looking, I got lost in this paperwork here. Couple pages deep.
We're just supposed to make things easy, right?
Well, probably just a print screen button or something that he did. Okay, so we have one person responded for the proposal for the bounce houses at Fridays at the Lake. And that is A&A Tents and Inflatables. $400 for the total season, $50 per show or per Fridays at the lake.
With this, I just didn't see, they didn't list anything of like how they're gonna tether it down. Or make it safe. for like participants using it. So that's why I think we had talked about just wanting a little bit more of like what they're gonna do safety wise.
Mhm.
Because the wind, right, wind coming up over those areas where that goes. You wanna make sure that a inflatable this size is tethered,
Mhm.
wouldn't we say?
Do you want to send them to provide a plan?
Yeah, just like, or saying that we require it at least be tethered down in some way, shape or form. And then I don't know what everyone feels like, cause when like I said, when my daughter was on these down at Shepherd Park, it was just a free for all. Like you just let in whoever you wanted, what age group, size, no matter what, which can be slightly dangerous. But they have parents sign a waiver, so if we're comfortable with that, that's what I want.
That's how it's always been. I mean, obviously, it's,
Yeah,
hopefully there's, and knock wood, there hasn't been an issue aside from the occasional crying
Bump
kid
into
or
each other.
collision. or
yeah, not
anything
on our
like that.
property, but
Yeah.
other places. So then I think the only thing that, if everyone's feeling comfortable with that, then the other thing that I ask is that they just let us know how they're going to tether it down to the ground.
Okay.
We
do that.
can, we can do an approval based on the fact that they respond to us, and what I can do is forward. it to you
Conditional
guys.
approval until we get
Conditional
that, yeah?
approval.
Okay,
Is that a motion?
sure.
Okay,
I also thought that I asked at one point, where were they going to place it? Because I think in years past, they placed it pretty close to where the beer was being poured. So kind of off to the side a little bit, or,
we had them, in two different places in my recollection. I thought it was better toward the north end over
The
by,
entrance.
well, on the other side of the
the
road from
horses
where
go over there, maybe.
yeah, the horse does go over there, so we then had
they-
it on the south end.
But the horse wouldn't be there during the Fridays at the lake.
No.
Yeah.
No, that would be during like Ronald McDonald
Right.
or one of the
Yeah.
other charitable events.
So that's logical to put it over there then? Okay.
I think, well, there's also a couple stone walls separating.
Right,
So
yeah,
where is it, over by the?
Over by the
Courthouse.
Veterans Memorial.
yeah,
Closer to the
yeah,
courthouse.
Memorial side, yeah,
And that's a second?
it is. yeah.
Okay. All those in favor indicate by stating aye.
Aye.
Opposed, say nay. Mayor votes aye. Okay, so we got some quotes for reconfiguring the lights at the water treatment plant. They have those high bay fixtures, they use a lot of power, high voltage.
Mhm.
We got three quotes. One is a turnkey from Integra LED, which in a few days or a week or so, you'll see new lights under our awning on our porch. They are LED converted from the high pressure sodiums that we currently have. The three quotes that came in, one was,
Just right here when you walk in.
yeah, the ones on the
That,
front
oh,
porch
just
here.
the, yeah,
We did that as a starter project to see, you know, these folks, I've worked with them in the past and other professions and had them give us a price. So the net project cost of this after the rebates is $4,055 for the wastewater or for the water treatment plant to be completely turnkey, refitted with LED lights, saving a lot of energy. So our one-time payment is $4,000. The other two bids that we received were in the $20,000 range for one of them. And the other one was $69,000.
Does that just have to do with the rebates that you?
I think it's these people work with NYSERDA and they get the rebates. They're in the program, so they apply for them ahead of time. Based on the assumption that they're gonna get a decent amount of work. And they're very efficient. So it'll convert all of our fixtures all of those high bay fixtures as well as any lower level lighting
Yeah.
throughout the entire plant.
And then for Go Green, we can use that for climate smart, yeah.
You can use it for climate smart.
Yeah.
Yeah.
A lot of points for that.
Yeah, that's a huge one. And I found out, I thought the county, on Beach Road, because it's county road,
Yeah.
that they were their street lamps. Kevin Hajos from the county proved me otherwise. They are our street lamps. So
Okay.
Keith in years past had acquired conversion kits for all of our candy cane lights and village antique lights throughout the village. So those are all converted. But Beach Road has not been converted. I thought I could incentivize the county to do it, but they're not their lights, they're our lights. So I'm gonna reach out to the same company, have them give us a quote.
Okay.
But in the interim of that, I will take a motion to approve the water treatment plant lighting upgrade out of this year's budget.
I'll make that motion.
I can second that.
Second, all those in favor indicate by stating aye.
Aye.
Opposed, say nay. Mayor votes aye.
Just a question, you're saying that you're upgrading these lights,
They're waiting to be installed. These ones are already LEDs.
like outside?
Outside, the ones on the porch, they're about yay by yay.
Can we put them on a timer? Cause I've heard from people that live in this neighborhood here that the lights that are up in this area can be like distracting or like can come into their windows at night. I know specifically like the town board just got updated and that was one thing. So I don't know if our lights would make a difference.
Our lights shouldn't, because they're on this side of the building facing the off ramp, but
Yeah.
they go on a photo cell. But with LEDs, it would be,
They go down.
they just shoot down,
Yeah.
yeah.
Okay, so.
The one thing with the town, their new sign is, poor Sally Mogren can't use her,
The daughter's bedroom is what it is.
and the daughter's bedroom, and they can't use the hot tub in the
Yeah,
backyard.
and the hot tub.
I
living in my
didn't
house.
want us to contribute to
No, I
that.
don't want to contribute to that.
Yeah.
These will be, and they're a better color temperature too. They're not that
Okay.
blinding like
Yep.
this.
You're not adding lights, you're just changing bulbs.
Swapping them out. We could probably put half of them up. There's 6.
Yeah.
You know, we could probably put 3 up, you know, for the amount of lighting we need. We're not here in the dark, but I'll look into that, maybe the reduction of them, because we don't need that much.
Okay.
of a-
It's more of a safety issue and making sure that the lights are on, so.
Yeah, it's a security issue.
Well, During the summer, it's not bad, but during the winter, the lights from the water treatment plant shine right in my bedroom.
Do they?
And then I get it from the school, that shines on it, and I get it from the bus garage.
Well, you live in a fishbowl there.
It's like I'm in a prison camp.
Do we vote on that? You voted, right?
Yeah.
I think,
Okay.
yeah,
So the Beach Road ticket booth lease, came up for renewal. It was formerly rented by Dennis Quirk. There's like a parasail war going on down there. Joe, DePace had rented it 1 year and kind of sold tickets on both sides of the other parasail, and they almost went to war. It was a silent war because there's just parachutes involved, but, so we decided years ago to put it out to bid. And then they got very aggressive with the bidding, the price. I think it started at 15,000 a few years ago and it increased over the years. So we just put it out to bid at a minimum of 17,000, which is what we were taking in. Only one person bid on it was Will and Katie Carson from Waterfront Cruises, and they bid 18,000. They will pay us over 3 payments, I think.
It's 3,000 a month.
3,000 a
May
month
and
over
October.
5 months
Okay.
or 6 months. So just a motion to
I'll
approve
make that
that.
motion to approve that. It's an easy $18,000.
It's an easy one, yeah. Best deal we got going. That's a motion. I need a second.
I'll second it.
Seconded by trustee Joe. All those in favor indicate by stating aye.
Aye.
Opposed, say nay. Mayor votes aye. Okay, spring cleanup. Keith, you got dates for us?
I do. April 25th through May 9th. If we're gonna follow last year's, it'll be April 25th through May 9th.
And we have the lawn signs to put out and all of that. We'll put it on our leaderboard, our website, other places we post things. Feel free to start
Maybe
cleaning
the
up.
firehouse,
Firehouse,
maybe.
maybe the firehouse board. I don't know, Donnie.
No, I don't have it yet.
Oh, well, we approved it. I think you should have one
Or
for the firehouse electronic sign.
I just need the, you were gonna pay for it, right? And then you were gonna give me the thing for reimbursement? Is that the
Is
one?
that the way we need to do it?
Well, you said you
For
had to
bed
prepay
tax.
it. I can't, we cannot prepay.
Yeah, we can't
We
prepay.
cannot
For
prepay.
the parts you can't?
No, it has to be completed and then we can pay.
Okay.
So if you guys want to,
I'll bring it up at the April meeting
okay,
and see if they'll do it that way.
all right.
Okay.
So we gotta wait till April?
Yeah. This
Um,
is the 2nd of April.
yeah, so not bad, not bad. So Lake George Hikeathon, this is special events for Wood Park with alcohol. Lake George Hikeathon They were disappointed that we did not, reduce the park rent, at the county level. They really don't, if they do it for one, they have to do it for all. They're still gonna have the event. So I believe they've submitted the application for Octax, and what was the date of that? July 5th. So it's a Saturday. For the hike-a-thon after party, so they're gonna hike probably. I don't know where they're hiking. Are they hiking Prospect?
They hike a lot of different
Heck,
places.
a lot of different places, right? Yeah. Well, this is the after party festival space. Take a motion to approve. Have a plan and a potential for a helicopter landing. I don't know. Kevin Hagos is not too keen on it. That is sort of in limbo,
The helicopter.
the helicopter landing.
Yeah,
I
it-
will say that, like, what was it, St. Patrick's Day, the helicopter, when I was walking around, I did hear quite a few people complaining about it, just because of
chop, chop, chop.
Yeah.
the amount of
The
times.
frequency of,
Yeah.
yeah, the rides that he did, and
Yeah,
it was much easier when it was on the lake. They just couldn't,
Right, 'cause
couldn't
it
do
is-
the lake because it was.
yeah.
Hello,
Representative like George Lang.
okay, come on up, come on up. What's your name?
Sarah.
Oh, hi, Sarah, how you doing?
I don't know what I can address the helicopter.
Sure, yeah.
It's
Sure.
not a ride.
Just
He
a landing, right?
lands and then stays there
Oh, so that's-
until the after party's over and then he would leave.
Okay,
So it would be very minimal as far as noise.
okay,
And as we did in 2019, he had a plan and a safety plan to make sure the space was clear and for Bruce to land.
Yeah, okay. It's Bruce, is it the same guy that did the helicopter rides? Yeah,
Yes.
same guy,
Yeah,
right?
very
Bruce?
familiar.
Can't be
with-
another
he
Bruce
does all the stuff
helicopter
around
guy.
here, and he's right up in. Yeah, Diamond Point.
Diamond Point, yeah. Okay, well, thank you for that, Sarah.
Any other-
Does the board have any other questions for Sarah?
Is he going to do an aerial photo of people? Usually you set up in some sort of design. Is he gonna do it at Wood Park or somewhere else?
So he does, so we do have hikes all around, there's 27 different hikes all around Lake George. And so he's flying a route around the watershed rim with Carl Harriman,
Mhm.
and they take pictures of every group.
Okay,
As they're coming in to land, I'm sure he'll also be taking pictures of the after party and coming in. But Prospect Mountain is the last one on the route, so
Okay.
we'll finish that and then land from there.
Nice. Well, thank you, and wish you good luck on your event. Take a motion to approve.
I'll make that motion.
I'll second it.
Seconded by trustee Root. All those in favor indicate by stating aye.
Aye.
Stating aye.
Stating aye, yes. If opposed, say nay. Motion carries. There is a cancellation, a change to our agenda here. I got an email over the weekend from Jamie Longmire, who is the ADK Jeep Invasion. And I was very excited about this event. We put a lot of time into it, he and I. He's experiencing some health issues and is gonna bail out this year and hopefully come back stronger than ever next year. He was diagnosed with some stomach issues, so he wants to deal with his health first. So I don't blame him, but at the same time, a little sad because I was pretty excited for that event. So an occupancy tax request from the Hudson Valley Firefighters Association, Tom McKinney, in the way of $2,000 to help offset the costs that we're gonna charge him for all of his proceedings that are gonna be going on for the HVA or HVFA event this June.
I'll make that motion
To approve, okay?
to approve the.
Is there a second?
Second.
Seconded by trustee Root. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, say nay. Mayor votes aye.
Yeah, I still go for Tom McKinney.
Yeah.
Ossining alone, fire department is sending up 150 families. The one Ossining, fire department, so we're gonna be,
It's a big event. This was years ago. I mean,
Yeah.
you guys remember
Yeah.
when it was,
Mhm.
and they're all good people too. Which is nice.
And I think it'd be a larger turnout because the parade's here too as well.
Sarah, come on back up here.
Come on down.
Yeah. So we have a occupancy tax request from the LGLC for the hikeathon to offset their costs of the event of $5,700. Anybody have any questions for Sarah on that?
Well, it sounds like you're asking for it because you get donations and you want the donations to support the lake, right? Versus having to pay for this event.
Pretty much, I mean, those were the costs that we're doing. We had this after party up in Bolton for the last couple of years, and it's gotten, we just need a larger space. We'd
Mhm.
like the better exposure.
Yeah.
Being down here.
Mhm.
There's very minimal, almost no cost having it up there, so it's a whole new budget item for us.
Yeah.
Which is quite large for our smaller group. And then because of the space, we wanted to do more with music, so the Stony Creek band said they would come.
Oh, all right.
They have a higher price point than we're used to having also, so it's all to make it a bigger, better.
Nice. Sounds like it's shaping up to be a nice event.
Yeah. Are there any hikes left open?
There are.
I better get on board.
Is there a sign up on your
There
website?
is, there's a sign up online, about half of them are full, but the others still have space, so.
Great. That being said, I'll take a motion to approve the occupancy tax
I'll
request.
make that
for
motion.
LGLC. Motion by trustee Root. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by trustee Miller. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed say nay. Your vote's aye. Thank you, Sarah.
Thank you very much.
Congratulations. Okay, training for 2025 Adirondack Planning Forum, May 7th and 8th for Walt Adams at $116.60. Is he driving up and back? Is it's 2 days?
That's my understanding. All he's asking for at this point is just to pay for the registration fee.
Okay. Take a motion to approve that.
I'll make that motion.
Motion by trustee Joe. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by trustee Miller. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed say nay. Mayor votes aye. Water changes. Transfers and audits. I'll take both of those in one. If anyone has any questions, we can delve into them. Otherwise,
I'll make that motion to accept changes and audits and transfers.
all right, a motion by trustee Mr. Domenico. Is there a second?
Second.
Seconded by trustee Miller. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed say nay. And Mayor votes aye. So this gets us into the tentative budget review for 25-26. Has anyone had a chance to look at the budget provided to you or?
I have.
Yeah.
It's a lot of details in there that don't come through on this budget sheet, so.
Right, you're usually given the
Right. The
the short
breakdown.
form instead of the long form.
Well,
Well, and the printout
there's,
as well.
yeah, it's kind of like the headlines, but question I would just like to confirm is whether or not there is funding in the budget to do the consolidation study, because we had a lengthy conversation last year, if you remember. And we went back and forth on what we should do first. Should we do the comprehensive plan review? Should we do the consolidation study?
Mhm.
And because we had DRI on our plate, we didn't have time to do, we ended up doing nothing. So I don't know enough about the budget to find out if it's in there or not. So can you just tell me if it's in there?
There is, and I'm trying to find it so you can see it. It is under consulting. I think it's 25,000. The last time we did it, it was 15. So I left a little extra in there for that.
So that's A 1930, consultants and appraisals?
Yes,
So the tentative is 20.
tentative is 20, yeah.
Okay,
So it cost us 15 last time. There are grants available that cover almost the whole thing. So if it's a reimbursing grant, then we would use that money to have the study done for, no, I would think not to exceed 20,000.
okay. So it's in the budget, but is it locked in that it's going to get done? Because it could,
We haven't even interviewed firms yet, John. We got to get the process going. I mean,
well, there's nothing to say that this would be transferred or it could be moved. There's nothing to say that it's going to be done. Or
We haven't,
there hasn't been a
done-
resolution that say that
right,
it's gonna be done.
correct,
Okay.
but that's not what the budget's about. The money's there for it.
Okay.
Should be resolved
That would
to,
probably be something that would have to be done after the next budget to put in. or-
well, we don't have it in this year's budget, so we can't start the process.
No, I know,
Right, yeah.
that's what I mean, next year's budget.
Yeah.
right.
Are you looking for a guarantee that that's what's gonna happen? I mean, I can't do that because I can't speak for the board.
Well, plus because we have an election coming on and this board might be not be the
Right.
same after
Correct.
tomorrow, so. Well, it's
But
good that it's in
I
there.
have intentions of doing it, and that's why I put it in there for,
Alright.
if that helps.
That helped.
And then more money in it than there was.
There is, this is a, and I'll get to I guess the main point is, what's the tax rate gonna be?
Yeah.
That's the main thing. We were able to keep the taxes from increasing at a rate of $4.93 per thousand of assessed value to $5 flat. So 7 cents per thousand of assessed value is the tax increase on this proposed budget. And thanks to Danae and Julie, whose work alongside me has been very tedious and we put a lot into this. Having to increase the rate of the water, I did not want to blow the tax cap, so we're still under 1% of increase. Basically, with a lot going on too, it's a big budget because of all the DRI projects. Those are money in, money out. That's why you'll see some of the larger budget items, we ended up being, a $13 million budget as opposed to last year it was a $6 million budget. It's because of the DRI projects that we have slated, as well as the bandstand. So that's my story.
Are we setting a meeting to kind of sit down and go over it like we did the last year?
Yeah, I would like to, because everyone's schedules is not matching up and the availability, I would like 2 people at most, or just individually come sit with me and Danae. If 2 of you want to sit with Danae, that's fine, just like in the next week or so, because I want to put this up for approval on the 7th. Which would be the next time we'll meet. So you have basically 2 weeks to get this done or get done with Danae, 2.5 weeks.
Shouldn't we have a public meeting so that the residents are able to like listen in?
That's what that would
That's
be.
what-
It would be April 7th would be a
April
public
7th is the
hearing.
public hearing for that.
Okay.
But
sit
we
down
want
with
you
Danae
guys
before
to
then.
I
familiarize.
understand that,
Yeah.
but I was saying last year, what we did was all of us sat down with Danae and the office staff, and it was video recorded so that residents could see us talk through the process of the budget.
That's on the 7th.
So that's what we're doing.
That'll be on the 7th, but I'm encouraging all of you to come and spend some time with Danae. If you have any questions, she can answer them for you.
Okay.
You got nobody's been in yet. So I've been talking budget for weeks now and I'm blue in the face about it, but I'm willing to discuss anything glaring right now that you see or any questions you have on how we got to where we are.
Is there something that I can have with more detail on how we got to where we are?
That's the part where you gotta sit down with Danae.
Can I be provided the paperwork with a little bit more detail before I sit down with her? That way I can go through it and that way I'm prepared as.
I'll
when I sit
give
down.
you all the paperwork you want.
Okay, great.
You won't understand that either until you sit down with Danae, but it's
I
fine.
might.
You might, you might.
There we go. So I might.
All right, I'll provide that for you. If you could, pick a time to come in, let me know, give me a day or so to print up copies of the sheets.
Okay.
What's your schedule like the rest of the week?
I can come in whenever. I just have 2 kids, so I can come in. and
You can come in.
Yeah.
We love
whenever.
seeing them.
Well, yeah. When I'm not there.
Okay, anything else? Nice.
Oh, I'm
No?
good from what I saw of it.
Keith, you got anything for us?
Yeah, we ended up getting 2 vehicles that were in the Gov Deals program, the auction site. We did successfully get rid of these 2 older vehicles. One vehicle was pretty much what I expected for the cost of the purchase. The International wasn't quite what we were looking for, but it's, you know, it's an auction, auction site for a reason. It's 21 years old and it's been, you know, it's just lived its life for the village anyway.
That's the big yellow one.
Yeah, correct. So, we do have 2 more items coming into the auction site, later this week. And, we'll see how that goes.
Want to put a minimum, like a reserve on
Now,
them?
the next 2 are, the, the single foot space, parking meters
Mhm.
that we have that we're looking at, recycling out. The board has already approved it either for going to auction, or if that doesn't work out very well, then it'll just be surplus, steel.
They make good table lamps.
Yeah, right, exactly. So I'm in the middle of quantifying all that, because we have to have like exact numbers for the auction on how many heads do we have and other items that go along with it. And so, again, I've been working on that late last week and started this week, so.
Okay. Tim, you got anything for us?
Working on getting people certified. That, you know, we sent 2 people out of Morrisville
Mhm.
last couple of weeks. They completed the course, one passed the final exam, and did not. So those guys back, and take the final exam again. Okay. Our new employee, Mark, Julie's working on getting him signed up for, CDL training.
It should be a breeze for him. I mean, you've been driving him for years, just never needed him
Yeah.
on the roads. How's he working out?
Good.
Good. He interviewed really well.
Get ready for spring and put down the lines. All the snow's melted, all the damage to the lines and stuff up there. You guys think they live in a Punk Hill or something like that? They only push snow back. I don't know. Other than that, it was-
Okay, fire department. Got anything?
I have a few recurring items that shouldn't sound new to you. The fire lanes on Amherst Street between the alleyway and Canada Street. We've been talking about it all winter. Is there been any progress? Or what's the process, or what has to happen to make sure that gets done before?
We were just talking about that this morning, as recently as this morning, Keith and I and John. We were thinking of probably getting rid of, I think it's 5 spaces between Canada and Amherst. And making that a loading zone. There's a big problem over in that area. So if it was a loading zone, the likelihood of vehicle being there greatly diminishes during, if it's a no parking area for just loading zone, there's not gonna be cars parked there, you know, all day long. So it very dramatically decreases the likelihood of blockade there, for you guys to get in and out. On the other side, of the street from the firehouse on Amherst heading toward Hendrick is, 4 spots that I've also indicated that is kind of a danger, but rather than lose 9 parking spaces, we were talking about, there's an area in front of the school on the opposite side of the street from the school where I notice a lot of parents park. It's over by, not quite to the Georgian, but from Marine Village north on that side of the street. Some of the spots, I think we can reclaim them when they repave the road this spring. And
24th, I saw the sign.
it's
Beginning of
24th, yeah. So that's coming hot and heavy. So we did order some pay and displays. We could add an additional pay and display and recoup the costs of those parking spaces. So I think, well, this spring we'll paint that area, the loading zone and, like yellow hash signage similar to what we have at the post office, you know, 15-minute parking, loading, unloading only. And I think that might solve a little bit of problem over in that area. John, I see that you snuck in. I didn't see you. But yeah, we talked about it in August and that's an issue over there. So with a new restaurant that is open most of the season, most of the year, the increase of deliveries, we're going to try to eliminate them in Iroquois Alley, the north part, and then put them on Amherst. I think that's going to solve a lot of problems. We had a in-depth
It will
discussion
certainly
about
help,
it.
and I understand there is a difference between a fire zone and a loading zone. Fire zone, nothing is supposed to be going on there.
Right.
I'm willing to, try this and see what happens.
Okay, great.
The other thing was the water supply hydrant at the rec center.
Yeah, now we're getting warmer weather. We can probably do some training down there. I-
Well,
If,
it-
keep,
Yeah, I
Gonna do-
was actually up there the late part of last week. I think this is the perfect time right now for us to, see what we have for capabilities there out of that hydrant. And also, flush out some stuff from the winter, in the pump house itself. And, do a good cleaning and see what we have to work with. So, I'd like to see that go on this week, if not next week. That's what I'd like to see.
you guys,
We will make available if you need apparatus to, somehow flow test, although I'm sure you guys have flow
Yeah,
meters and
yeah,
stuff.
we can make that.
That would be, great. Springtime, of course, the benefits are we're not operating in the village inconveniencing, and we're not taxing the water supply system when we do big, volume, drills.
yeah, that's its own system anyway, so you're in good shape there.
The other thing, the last thing you and I talked about was the ambient air filters that are in the apparatus.
Yes, I actually was speaking with Julie today, we have a quote for, replacing there's 3 different filters per unit, the units. There's a cost, it's a weighty cost, but it's something that needs to be done. Should have been done years back, but I don't think anybody really knew about it, to be honest with you, other than the superficial filters that are on the end of the units. So now we have, a good contact for the other types of filters that are associated with those units. So I think we might have to just adjust a little bit of money on the buildings code in our budget. And I think we can get that done pretty quick.
Was there any discussion on what the costs are per year?
There is some information on that as well. As far as the lifespan, mostly is what you're looking for. We're still waiting to hear some information, but we do have a good solid contact.
Very well. And then, the final item, I've talked to a couple people about this, going back to tires for the apparatus. We've had, the inspections done. They've, indicated how long they've been out of service. I know it's a tough nut to, try to crack when the apparatus sits there most of the time. But the reason that the, 7-year rule comes into place is that under high stress response items, there have been failures on tires that are over 7 years old. The 2 pieces that are important right now, of course, is the aerial. We've touched on that briefly about it. Perhaps going into the next budget season. And then the midi pumper 330, that one also. The dates that I have for these tires, they've been overlooked since 2014 on the aerial, and 2023 on the midi pumper. Now that it's known and that it's been documented and I brought it up to you, I'm in a quandary as to either the apparatus is safe to operate or it isn't. And I need to decide whether to take the apparatus out of service because of these, or see if there is some way to fund the tire replacement.
Yeah, when's the new tower coming?
The last I heard was November.
November. Yeah, I mean, it's a tough decision to make to buy tires for a car you're gonna sell.
What is it? It's a rule that they have to be 7 year over
I'm
7.
sorry,
It's a rule that you have to take them out over 7 years. What's the,
NFPA calls it a guideline.
okay,
They don't say that you have to do this, but if something fails and you don't do it, that's also kind of a catch 21, 22, whatever it is, catch 22. where it has been said if you aware of this items and you decide not to do it, are we responsible for?
Have the tires been inspected by a professional tire inspector?
Yeah, I mean, they look like they just came off the shelf. But you have to imagine they're under full load the whole time and, and they just sit there and,
You don't have a lot of miles on them.
no.
Yeah.
What's the cost to replace them?
Between the two of them was probably around $6,000 to replace them.
It's not as bad as I thought,
No,
actually. I was thinking it was gonna be in the tens.
Yeah, yeah. I was thinking a lot more.
How many tires total then, Jim?
There's 10 on one.
There's 6 on the aerial and 6 on the midi.
Oh.
The midi pumper has tires
Still a lot of money.
more consistent with a pickup tire, heavy duty pickup tire, where the aerial has full-size
Truck
tire.
Well, we're keeping the mini pumper.
Sorry,
We're keeping the mini pumper, right?
that's correct.
Yeah, so there's no reason you shouldn't buy tires for that. It's just, it's hard to buy tires on a tower that you're
I
gonna
think we
sell.
have some
or you're gonna
budget
turn in.
constraints for right now. I guess.
Oh, yeah, yeah. I would buy them in June, because it looks like you put the money in the fire budget.
Yeah.
For it, that grew extensively because they needed to catch up for a couple years. So I didn't take a cent away from it when I started slashing the other day. So be thankful, because everybody else got cut.
Could we read the guideline?
Yeah, can you provide the
Provide the
board with a?
guideline, and then we can see the reason that they set the guideline. Cause I don't know enough about it. I feel like to make an informed decision of like, yes, get new tires or no, cause sometimes guidelines are. You look at them and you're like, this is silly, or
Yeah.
sometimes you're like, oh, I see the reason behind it. So reviewing the guideline, I think would help.
When I was listening to you talk about the signs, I could, go to the company and ask if they would do a loan at a very favorable interest rate. If we were to get reimbursed, in June, to make sure that the equipment is up to stuff at this time.
Yeah, ask them. What's the worst they could say?
Well, is that gonna be acceptable to you guys?
Yeah, I mean, we still want to review the guidelines, and I would actually just like to read a little bit more about it myself. I mean, if you're saying the tread is not worn, they're just old.
They don't drive them a lot of miles. It just
Yeah.
sit there. You can get dry rot. You can get dry from the rubber.
What I can do tonight is I can go and I can get the standard printed out and then give the supporting information from mishaps that have happened because of older tires
Yeah,
and have that for your review by tomorrow morning.
Okay, that sounds good.
thank you.
I don't want to be all like nonchalantly, and I also don't want to be doom and gloom about, what could go wrong. Something can always go wrong.
That is correct.
But, okay,
That is all I had.
all right. Thanks, chief. Gina, you got anything back there? No?
No.
John? Carr? No? Laura? David? Michael? No? Okay. Got anything else?
I do.
All right.
I know we're doing the double meetings. I think my understanding of the double meeting was the first meeting of the month was gonna be just solely discussion. And then the second meeting was gonna be voting. Is there a way that we could return to that only for my thought process of, for residents and trying to get people to come to the meetings and like hear what we're voting on? I feel like having 2 a month where there's votes might be challenging, especially at 4:30 PM. So like the first meeting, I remember you saying like when we talked to. people,
More of a
like,
workshop.
More of a
setting.
workshop
Right.
discussion setting, because it seems like it's only been like vote versus
Yeah.
discussion.
Well, a meeting is a
Things
meeting.
came up.
Right,
Because we follow NICOM rules, we don't follow Robert's rules. Robert's rules is if it's a workshop, you don't vote on anything.
Sure.
We follow NICOM rules, so every meeting is a meeting, whether it's a workshop or not. We can throw some action items on there. That actually makes Julie's job easier if she can pay something mid-month. A lot of times we always have to wait, people will get an invoice, and this even happened with National Grid. And we got dinged on it with the auditors because we can't pay them unless we vote on the transfers and audits. And sometimes we'll get a National Grid bill the day after our meeting.
We got
You
them
know-
today. I couldn't put them in today's.
So yeah, for like transfers and audits, but say like, what the next one is, that's not,
7th.
April 7th, and then we have the one April 21st, like 7th is obviously gonna be chock full because it's the budget, but say
It's
going.
also the.
It's all the
Yeah,
annual.
annual, right,
Organizational,
so
it's a
that'll
big
be
one.
our-
It's a
That
big
would have
one.
been a
voting
special
going on.
meeting anyway.
Right. But
that?
starting.
That would have been a special meeting
Right,
anyway.
Would've
you're
been.
right. So, but starting like in May, could it be like the first meeting is where if there's a few things that need to be approved because they're time dependent, yes, but then maybe it's, this is what we have coming up at our next meeting, let's all discuss
Sure.
it.
That was the intent.
Right, that's what I was,
originally,
and
yeah.
I just
We
noticed.
just
that
had
it
a lot
wasn't.
going
Right.
on lately, so, but yeah, we can go back to that.
Return
That's
to
the format that I was suggesting to begin with anyway, so.
Okay, perfect. My second thing, I know I've said it before, I know everyone thinks it's very silly, but I went to the St. Patrick's Day Parade. The throwing of the candy, just in my opinion, is a little dangerous. Kids are running out into the street to get that candy, and then not all of the candy is gone during the parade. And so there's a bunch of candy laying there and kids are still running out to get it. And it's just, it's in a road. So I almost wonder if we could come up with a different format, like if people still want to hand out candy, but instead of being in like a truck or a car or something and throwing it, could people be walking along the side, handing out candy so that we're not having that? Cause I saw kids sprint out and then like our plow trucks like honk, so they would get out of the way.
Okay, you're right. I do think it's ridiculous,
Yeah.
but the act of parenting is not that hard to keep your children from running into a slow motion parade. So it's not known for this to be an issue across the entire country or wherever they have parades. I don't see a concern with it. And anybody else wants to weigh in on it?
Well, I did see last year when I was at the parade, I did see one group had a young man, maybe a junior firefighter, going with a bucket,
Right.
handing it.
There were.
It just
people-
seems more polite
Yeah.
and you don't have the mess, you don't have the danger, and I think you don't have the mayhem. So
It's just my opinion, if
Mhm.
everyone doesn't agree with it, but I think it's a safer form. Also, like, there's still a lot of candy left over on the street. We're thinking like animals, things of that nature, dogs walking by, eating it. Just, I don't want to contribute to that,
Mhm.
so.
birds.
Birds are big, yeah, you can kill quite a few birds doing that. So,
With no stones.
yeah.
Or maybe.
That was the
Two
crappiest
birds.
candy we ever bought too. I gotta be honest with you. I didn't know what it was when we bought it, but it was pretty garbage.
Oh, well.
So next,
Chief,
To support Allison's position there, the fire service has taken that position several years ago during parades where we do that. That would be like the Mardi Gras parade on Fridays, and whatever other parade we would have. And perhaps some of you saw them, the auxiliary members would walk alongside.
Yeah.
the American Legion was doing that right behind.
As opposed
Yeah.
to throwing it, and even in a pickup, and as you say, you would think that the parents could kind of see that this isn't the best thing racing towards, moving traffic. We've made the policy for us to hand things out as opposed to throw it from the vehicles.
Mhm. Okay.
The other thing that I know and that we've heard is the use of air horns and sirens from the fire apparatus. Our own company is to be cognizant of the little ears and stuff like that in the
Yeah.
area.
And
Try to reduce that. Everybody kind of likes to hear it. There's other departments that are a little more
Cavalier.
Aggressive.
that,
Noisy.
really enjoy doing that kind of stuff, and that might be something along with the candy that we would keep sirens and air horns to a minimum, so.
I agree. Children under the age, I think of like 2 or 1, you can permanently damage their hair cells in their ear. Hair cells are how they hear. Anything over 80 decibels for, I can't remember if it's like 5 minutes is like proven to be damaging. And when I was standing there, It was really loud. My daughter was over 1. I'm really hopeful that nothing bad happened, but
You know, the fire apparatus horns and sirens, of course, I think are at a higher decibel rating than even the
Yeah.
normal highway trucks and stuff that go up the road. But,
yeah.
as a reminder to visiting departments that happen to come in to, limit that if at all possible.
And I say it to make the parades more enjoyable for kids and parents to come to, because as a parent, if I come and I'm seeing the candies being thrown out, kids are throwing out there, I'm less likely to want to do it next time. One, because I don't want to have to keep restraining my child to go out on the road. And then also I second think like, it's super loud, like now do I need to bring earmuffs that my kid has to go on? So I think you might get like bigger turnouts if people feel like it's more kid friendly.
Well, that's one reason why I didn't go this year, because last year was the fire trucks, the police cars. There's just so much noise, but I don't know how that really played into St. Patrick's Day.
Yeah.
It's just noise.
I mean, the car was dressed up, like that was exciting for kids to see.
Back-
The horse was a beautiful horse, like.
Yeah,
and,
Gus-
Like the kids.
Gus
like
is
the
my pal.
horse, right? So yeah, just something I think we should consider.
Okay, thanks, Jose, you got anything?
Yeah, this is brought up to well, sorry.
Are you having a stroke?
No, I'm still, I can't hear on my left ear too well, so.
You
my
were at the
voice
parade
fluctuates.
Sunday?
No, I
No.
broke my nose many times, now it doesn't drain and my ear gets clogged.
Okay.
Yeah, it wasn't my wife breaking my nose. No, I have at work and in the community, I'm friends with a lot of the correctional officers. We have roughly 2,000 right now laid off. But I've had a group, I know a dozen that have asked me, if the village would ever be up for, I know peace officers in the past, they had an issue. A lot of the issue is they're very young, not a lot of experience. A lot of these gentlemen are older, in their late 30s, 40s, early 50s, that are all licensed registered peace officers in New York State. That express interest if you ever had a program that they work and do it. That being said, I'm not sure if that would go against the Governor Hochul's orders right now, but we do have a plethora of unemployed registered peace officers that are used to dealing with the worst of the worst, and their job is to de-escalate. We might be able to get, some good help off of that. With that being said, I don't know though.
Program to talk to the sheriff about,
I think it would be good to talk to Jim
to
about
cut
it.
down overtime and pay them straight time.
All right, well, I'll talk to Sheriff LaFar about it.
Especially during peak times like, 4th of July and.
Yeah, I put, if you know, I put some extra money in for extra, in our octax. Actually, you didn't see that. I want to go over that when we go, over the budget, what my plans are, what we have already approved. I'm keeping a sheet going of the, octax. I have to add the LGLC to it today. And, just to keep a running tab on what we're expending it on. So I have it for next year. I was left some handwritten things and I like spreadsheets better. Got anything? Trustee Root?
Joe?
No,
Well, I was going to you first.
We're going.
I start out the outside edges
Okay.
and work my way in.
No, I don't have anything.
Okay.
Just, good luck to Joe tomorrow.
And good luck to both of you.
Thank you.
Joe?
no, I have nothing. Hopefully it's not the last meeting I'll be sitting in this chair, but if it is, it's been a pleasure working with everyone and serving the public, so. See what happens.
Okay.
Good luck.
Thank you. And since Joe said good luck, I'll take a motion to adjourn.
Say good night.
I'll take that as a motion. So ordered. Thank you.